Hi! It's been a while since I've done a little long form video. Welcome back to this weird little series based around me involving my animation skills. You may call me Mythical of Animates. This video is going to be a bit longer as I will just be mainly yapping, so feel free to listen to this in the background of whatever you're doing. If you did watch my previous video, it was just about the basics of timing charts and how they could potentially be used in animation. However, there was one thing very clear, like crystal clear. It was incredibly boring, and so I wanted to switch things up out of the goodness of my heart. You see, I'm a certified nerd, so I grabbed 3 of my favourite fictional characters and put these charts to the test to see whether they are brilliant or bloody awful as a tool, and hopefully I don't explain it like a maths teacher who doesn't get paid enough. So let's start, shall we? Also, to any people who are wondering what's going on with bandmates or want any bandmates updates, I am going to make a separate update, I swear. Okay, so one quick thing before we start, I will be giving a small recap of each character and what they come from so people understand more. Great, got it? Okay, let's move on. Disclaimer, if you have a phobia of eyes or anything spooky like that, I really recommend you skip to this timestamp. Thank you. Okay, so Argos is a character from the Weirdcore YouTube series, The World of Mr. Plant. He's like this humanoid creature with many spooky little white eyes. Jeepers creepers, how'd you get those peepers? Unfortunately, we will probably never know until there's like some lore thing about it. He was created and is currently played by Ashur Gharavi and even has his own spin-off series. So if The World of Mr. Plant is the Big Bang Theory, call Gardening with Argos the young Sheldon of Weirdcore and Dreamcore. Now, I chose to draw Argos for a few reasons. One, he's one of my favourite characters. I've cosplayed as him, I own lots of related merch of the series, and I even have made a whole Dungeons and Dragons character based around him. But the main reason, he's very expressive and very exaggerated with his excitable movements and gestures, so I thought it'd be easy and cancel out the hard part of he's a live action character and they are hard to draw. Example, he does like this really dramatic, disgusted wince in one of the Gardening with Argos episodes, and that's what gave me the inspiration I needed. So, let's head back to our little timing charts lesson. Yes, I'm sorry, this had to be educational eventually. However, if anyone asks me about working in halves or 1s and 2s, I'm not at that level yet, and that is for another video. We have 2 keyframes, which dictate the start and end of the action, which would be the, start and end of the expression. We have our breakdowns, which is like the really weird little smear frame in the middle, and then we have our in-betweens, which sort of combine everything into a weird yet perfectly complete set of pancakes. Now, I chose to use 7 frames for each test because why not? However, I think I may have done this horribly wrong, as I chose to draw the beginning frame and then the last frame and kind of just sort of even it out. Each frame separately looks okay, but I feel like I haven't really portrayed right what I wanted to do. It just looks What's even worse is the last time I animated Argos, he looked better than now, so I fear my animation of this character has gone through a humongous glow down, but whatever. 6 out of 10. Okay, so this character is a lot more recognisable compared to the last, but I'm still going to make an introduction, so please hold your pastel-coloured horses and listen up. Whoa, I didn't think you'd take that literally. Fluttershy as a character actually originates from My Little Pony Generation 3, but was revamped in My Little Pony Generation 4, created by Lauren Faust. She is a pink and yellow Pegasus who specialises in tending to animals, and she is also a favourite of mine. I fear this may be a pattern for the rest of the video. Now, Fluttershy has many incredible expressions that I could have decided to try and recreate, but however, after that interesting Argos attempt, I decided to do a simple turnaround for my own sanity and reuse some of the frames I have already drawn. Oh, come on, you have to do what you have to do. It wasn't lazy, okay? I'm tired. This was actually a very easy animation to do, as it was just a turnaround from one side to the other. So most of the frames actually ended up being reused, and I got to use a smear frame too, which I love drawing. However, to quickly explain, a smear frame is a cheap tactic used in animation to create the illusion of quick and exaggerated movement without using more drawings. You can find loads of them in cartoons like SpongeBob. They're really fun to draw, and they save money. Now, I think this one actually looks okay. I mean, she was very much easier to draw and animate in general, so I'm trying not to be biased, but I feel like my art style specifically does work for My Little Pony characters a lot better than other characters. I don't really know what else to say. This one was alright, 6.5 out of 10. Okay, so looking back at the previous animation test, it wasn't really for an expression, it was more for movement, but you know what, whatever, it's Nuka's turn. Nuka is a comic relief / antagonist from The Lion King 2. He is heavily implied to be the son of Scar in looks and behaviour. He is very insecure of not being appreciated by his peers, and so he retaliates by being what I like to call a savage diva. He's also a very expressive character, probably one of the most, I'd say, out of the whole Lion King cast compared to, like, Ed. Anyway, he does this incredibly silly laugh, which makes this beautiful image, and I needed to draw this. This is not a want, this is a need. Believe me, I'm not lying around. Oh, come on, that's funny. Anyway, so what I did last time, mainly for the Argos test... Okay, I'll stop with the lion jokes. Which was a standard frame timing chart with 7 frames, with 2 keyframes, 1 breakdown, and the other ones. Okay, so the animation has been finished. I can fully say I fumbled the bag. I've done Nuka very dirty. It's not looking too good. Instead of laughing like he usually does in his, like, really expressive way, he looks like he's chewing on something very aggressively, or, like, choking to death. I mean, who knows, maybe he is a bit hungry, alright? Maybe he's a bit hungry. I did only give myself 7 frames to work with, so, I mean, he does look a bit like one of those menacing seagulls, like, squawking at you at the beach. Honestly, you'd think I'd be a lot better at this one, since I draw a lot of lion characters, but yeah. However, honestly, I know I'm joking about how these animations suck a lot. They do suck. But at the end of the day, that's what these tests are actually for. So I can look back, cringe really hard, and see how I've improved. To be honest, looking back at some of these, I don't actually think they're that bad. I mean, with the first test, I roasted it and said I hated it, but to be honest, it's grown on me. In fact, it's my Fluttershy test I'm now starting to dislike, because it doesn't make sense. The turnaround doesn't look very good. But honestly, don't compare your animation to other animations. My animation is not like James Baxter style animation, but it's alright with me. I enjoy making it. And that's the point. That's the point of these videos. Alright? They're just to show you guys how I do it, and I want to thank you all for coming along on this little ride, seeing what I make and tagging along. So yeah, thanks.